And we begin this Sunday morning with the road ahead for President Trump's agenda. The president is capping a very successful first 100 days in office, having achieved many of his campaign promises, including securing the border. Apprehensions down 99.9%. But even more critical than the last 100 days is the upcoming 30 days, as Congress efforts passage of President Trump's agenda. Here's House Speaker Mike Johnson with me here.
I really do believe he's going to thread this needle. You know, the fact that this bill's coming up, I think Johnson references why it's important.
Getting it done by the end of May is important as well because the debt limit cliff is approaching.
So that is, you know, it's going to be a dance, right? It's going to be a dance, but I think it can be accomplished. And I think that, you know, once, you know, he's gonna have a tariff country fall. He's going to have somebody announce. It's going to be a massive deal. That's my belief. And that is going to get this entire ball in motion.
At least 7 House committees have marked up the bill, which includes tax cuts, border security, defense spending, while cutting wasteful spending. The House Ways and Means Committee pushed its markup from this upcoming week to the following week in a race to get the budget reconciliation bill passed in the House by Memorial Day and sent to the Senate and then the president's desk by the 4th of July. This as President Trump is asking Congress to cut more than $160 billion in overall spending on non-defense programs in next year's budget, as the national debt creeps ever closer to $37 trillion, in part due to the $7 trillion in new spending under the Biden administration. All of this as a new report shows the impact the president's tariffs are having on China, with new export orders falling to the lowest reading since COVID-19 in 2022.
What people don't understand is COVID-19, say whatever you want, decimated the Chinese. It changed the landscape from that the entire world pivoted away from China because, you know, factories were closed, people weren't buying. China has never been the same since COVID, right? And we don't understand that as a Western nation because we don't typically care about anything else outside of our bubble. But honestly, most people don't, right? Everyone likes to say that, oh, you know, we don't know where this place is on a map. Yeah, well, people know where America is on a map because that's where the majority of the money comes from, right? And you know, I get, you know, probably people in China don't know where Tennessee is. I mean, a lot of people in America won't know where Tennessee is either. But you know, it's just one of those things that people like to throw shade at us, saying that we're not familiar with global affairs. You know, we're worried about ourselves, which as well we should be. But COVID changed the map. China took a massive hit in terms of exports, in terms of their manufacturing after COVID-19.
And manufacturing activity dropping to the lowest level in more than a year. Certainly enough pain to get Beijing to pay attention to fair trade talks with America.
Absolutely.
Here's the president with his cabinet this week.
We know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I hope we're going to make a deal with China. We're talking to China, but their factories are closing all over China because we're not taking their product. We don't want their product unless they're going to be fair with us, and that includes intellectual property and other things.
He's so smart, man. So smart. He never beats people while they're down, right? He understands they are up against the rock and the hard place right now. They don't have an alternative, but he can't cudgel them. He can't, you know, beat them into the ground, because then the leaders, they don't have an out, right? You have to leave somebody an out. You have to leave somebody an area where they can look good to their people, and you know that you got what you deserve, right? You got your good deal, but you didn't you know, make them look poorly in front of their people, their peeps, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is Senate Majority Whip, Wyoming Senator John Barrasso. Senator, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Maria.
I know you've been working hard on this reconciliation package. Do you feel you have the votes to get it over the finish line in the Senate?
I'm very confident we'll get there, Maria. Look, these first 100 days with President Trump, you talk about the pace and the progress made. It's been breathtaking. And in terms of securing the border, getting his cabinet in place so quickly, lowering prices for the first time in 4 years, amazing. But it's not just those first 100 days, it's the next 100 days are critical, because we probably have a shorter period of time than that. We have promised the American people safety and prosperity, and that means a comprehensive economic plan that needs to be passed so we can get to this strong, healthy economy that is growing. So those are the things we want to do: higher wages, lower costs, more jobs here in America, bring them back home. The other reason we have to get this done in a timely manner is that if we don't, the Democrats' $4 trillion tax increase will come into play. We need to stop that. The Democrats are trying to make us fail because they like high taxes. They like big spending government. Look, they're the party of open borders, high prices. We will succeed. We need to succeed. It's so important to put more money back into the American people's pockets.
So, Senator, tell us what the issues are. I mean, everything that you just laid out, someone who is not focused on all the details would say, well, why wouldn't all of the senators be in favor of that? The last time you had to do this, back in President Trump's first term, you didn't get this done until December, the end of the year. What are the issues that are holding back some of your colleagues? Is it raising the debt ceiling? Is it SALT? What is it specifically?
Well, specifically, I like to talk about the things we agree on, and we agree on securing the border. We agree on keeping taxes low and getting prices down, and those are the things we agree on, and we have actually done a blueprint. It passed the House, it passed the Senate, so we're on the right path. And you mentioned earlier the numbers. We need 51 votes in the Senate. The House needs 218 votes. As the whip, my job is to make sure that we can get the votes there. That's my focus. But let's talk about why this is so important, that we get through any of the distractions of where we disagree. I was at a pancake breakfast yesterday morning in Wyoming talking to a woman who was telling me just how hard it has been for her and her family the last 4 years of the Biden administration. She knows it's going to take us a while to get out of this hole that we're in, but it matters to her that we get this economic plan done quickly. To me, that's the deadline. That's the urgency, to put money into her pocket. So many of these proposals that the president has come up with are critically important to people. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. To me, that's why we need to get this done quickly. Put this in place.
And some of your members might come back at you and say, sure, but this is our one opportunity to actually get spending under control and cut into that $37 trillion in debt. Do you believe that you will be able to match what the House has identified, $1.5 trillion in spending cuts? Because so far, the Senate has come up with what?
Not a chance.
$3 or $4 billion in spending cuts. So tell us now, definitively, do you believe you'll be able to match the House's spending cuts?
Well, I do, and actually our number is a little higher than that of what we'd like to get to. The American people know the government is too big, it spends too much. They saw this list of things that have come out of the spending under the bloated budgets of the Biden administration for the last 4 years that have given us the highest inflation in 40 years. And when people see this list of $20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq or sex change operations in Guatemala, people are furious here in Wyoming and across the country.
Yeah.
The Democrats are mad too, not because of the amount of spending, but because we exposed the amount of spending that we're done. We need to wipe this out.
Right. Well, look, you've
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be a tough road. I don't know how they're gonna pull this one off. I hope that they do. I think they have the political clout behind them right now. You know, the media is trying really hard to do a sharp turn against them and just to muddy the waters, right, as to what has actually been going on, what has actually been accomplished, and what they set forth to do. I'm interested to see. I got to take a look. See, if it's not cutting anything, guys like Thomas Massey and people like that, they're not going to be on board. But some people really don't like him. I'm a fan. I like what he stands for. He's a very principled guy. People may not agree because he doesn't go with the flow. But that's not what you're there for. You're there to do what you believe is right. But yeah, guys, give me a like, give me a share, give me a subscribe. Thanks a lot for coming out. We'll see you again on the next video. Thanks a lot.